G'day, Matt here. How you going? Thanks for joining us today. Got a little bit of a different episode. We've got picked up a few things for the old bus back there. Just going to go through and show you a few things, unboxing a couple of things, and then we're going to put them on the car. Let's go. So from Chaos, I got their ensuite shower tent. So this episode I'm just going to bolt it up onto the roof rack, but we will do a full rundown review when we're over on the island.
If you just call my name, I'm never gonna drop it, gonna take it.
Pretty standard really. Mounting brackets, which is really helpful. Some of the cheaper brands actually make you buy these separately, so that's good. We'll take a look at them. Nuts and bolts, tent pegs, pretty compact. Oh, nice. So we'll get that up on the roof rack and then we'll show you, probably when it's finished, I'll show you how to do the brackets once I work out how I'm actually going to bolt it up there. Pretty straightforward really. You know, if you're semi-handy, you'll be able to work it out. I also got a rear awning, mainly because I'd already got the side awning and I didn't want to chuck out a perfectly good side awning to get a 270-degree box wing thing. So I just went and bought a June Anaconda, had some good sales on. This was like $79. So we're going to bang that on the back. So when we're at camp, we can pull the back awning out, side awning out, gives us a bit of extra protection from the sun and rain. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but you got to be ready. So same thing, we'll get that on, show you how it goes. Right, we're going to start with the rear awning, because the placement of that is determined by my side awning, and then where this side finishes will determine where the ensuite awning is on the rack. Alright, now these, like majority of awnings, are a fairly universal sort of insulation. On the back of the awning they have these, I don't know what they're called. That extrusion anyway has two slots for the bolts. So literally the bolt head will slide into that track, right? Then you can adjust it to wherever the L brackets go on your roof rack. So your L brackets will go like this, or like this, depending on how you're installing it. These little fellas, the little ones, they'll go in there, so they won't spin around. So when you go to put your nut on, you actually only have to worry about doing it on one side. Right, and then you can adjust that up. And these long ones will just be to bolt through the rack. What I am going to have to do though is get a plate. I've got some aluminium there. I'll make up a plate so that I can clamp this between the rack. So with the rear awning, I've got to make up some brackets, some extra brackets to go underneath the underside of the cage on the basket, and then the bolts will clamp over the cage. It's just how it is. So I've got some aluminium angle out of the shed there. See, this is why I don't throw away stuff. I can chuck that out, but I'm going to be able to use it now. So I've measured out what it is. So the location, I can only fit the first 3 screw holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure that. That's my side there. So I'm going to square that line around. And what I'm going to do is just line that up in the middle. I'm going to mark out the holes, drill them out. Happy days. So what I do when I drill out holes, I always start with a smaller pilot hole first and then work my way up. This hole here is probably about a 6mm. Yeah, that's 6mm. 6.5. So what I'm going to do is, that's my finish hole, 6.5. My start hole, I'm going to do a 3. And then what I might do is 4.5 mil.
Pick it up. Gonna take it to the top. I'm gonna make it. Never gonna break it.
That drill bit's as blunt as some of my dad jokes.
We gonna take it, 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 gonna take it to the top. I'm gonna.
Now you're probably wondering why I've drilled 3 holes for each bracket when I've only got 2 bolts for each size. I've done that so that if one of these holes is impeded by the grate on the cage, I've got the other 2 there, so it gives me a bit more flexibility.
I'm gonna do it all by myself. I'm gonna do it all by myself. I'm gonna do it all by myself. I'm gonna.
Right, so I got my bracket there. I've got my little bottom bit. Just gonna line them up. Like so. Flat washer. Alright, so there you go. Got the bracket underneath, got the bolts lined up with the holes. Now I'm going to nip that up, but keep it a bit loose so I can move it around a little bit to straighten it up when I get the next one on. So I've got the awning. What we're going to do is feed the bolts in. Two that way, two the other way. And we're going to line them up where they want to go. Holes in the bracket, and we're going to see if we can get them on. That side's in, and that side's in. And we get a nut on there. These are Nylox, which are really good. They, once they're done up, they don't normally wiggle loose. Little fellow in there. So we're just going to line it all up on the rack, on the bracket, left to right, front to back, and then nip all the nuts up, and then happy days. There we go, job done. Took probably about half an hour start to finish. Actually told a bit of a porky earlier when I said that I was going to just cut the bolts down. I actually went for a trip into town to local hardware and bought some shorter bolts. M6 stainless steel, about 30 mil I think they were. Made life a lot easier than trying to cut bolts. So yeah, all done. Probably not for the uninitiated, but if you're fairly handy, it's not that hard to work out really. It does come with instructions. Most awnings will come with instructions anyway, and yeah, it's just about lining it up. So as you'll see, it's sort of off center, it's not even. That's okay. That awning on my passenger side there is 2.5 meters and I can't go forward anymore, but it's all good because around this side is where the shower ensuite awning is going to go, and it's going to line up with the end of that back awning anyway, so she's all good. Now the next one I'm going to put up is the ensuite awning. Now I've been looking forward to this. I ordered it a little while ago, it arrived this week, so I'm going to bang that up. I've been looking around for a little while online, There's lots of different brands out there, a lot of different price points. This one ticked the most boxes for me. I picked it up from Chaos in Brisbane. It looks really good, looks really sturdy. There's quite a few features that I really liked, so we're going to go through that in a future video. Here it is. So I'm going to bang this up. Now I showed you just how to do that one then. It's the same for this, it's just a bit shorter. So let me put this up and then I'll show you the end result. Righto, job done. There we go, all done. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe as well if you feel free to. Really helps the channel out moving forward. And stay tuned. Remember, the weeks are long, but the weekends are short. So chase the weekend. Catch ya.